The Waylay and the Neon. The Waylay and the Neon. Which means, jokes aside, that does allow them to kind of set the tempo, right? If Riker is going to make space with Waylay's utility, Foreign can capitalize off of that. Riker can fall back. Foreign becomes the first entry. It discombobulates a little bit of what Burger Boys does. That, along with the fact that we're starting with a 4-stack on B for both teams and 1v1 Sentinel duels. This is going to be a doozy of a map.
Oh, I am excited. They actually do get a ping onto Tillo, in fact, but the hunt on the other end from AG does not get anything. And the Senti duel doesn't actually come to fruition. So I think they realized what was going on. Paranoia is traded on both ends. Also, the wall put out. But it just shot through the smoke as Tillo falls immediately. Unlucky as well for Burger Boys' side, but they still maintain the composure. They'll run all the way to A and try to get something back here.
It's just going to be up to Retro to hold it down at this point, but it seems like Burger Boy pushing in. Part of me liked that. I was like, oh yeah, you know, get aggro, but when you're on the defense, it's a little over aggro.
I mean, he's just stuck, right? They're just running over the side as well, too. Retro can take it away, and they can't find much more, though. A good on body to get something back, but it's AG with complete control of the site. They get the spike down from here as 3 of Burger Boys make the way through, waiting for the smokes to dissipate. Ooh, ducks right away with the shot. Bonnie being low enough, it does make it a bit harder, but unless from here, it's 2v4. So, Practical and Natters trying to find anything they can, but the knife going wide, that being shot, the right click not gonna land, and Practical, last one left to take something, but no consolation prize for him.
Really good for AG to just immediately rotate off. They had the Sentinel already pushed up into it, along with the fact that they already had the number advantage going from the first fight. They were like, okay, yeah, we're just gonna take fights, work together, and do kind of what I said, control the pace of the way that they're playing, and control the pace of the game as much as they can, get ahead of some of the things that Burger Boys is trying to do. And it's good for Alliance, right? If they can, they didn't start, if I'm not mistaken, they didn't start as strong previously. So having a stronger start here is going to hopefully build some of that confidence throughout the rest of the series.
For sure. And I find for Burger Boys, right, we're expecting a decent reprieve when it comes down to the defensive side, but remember, they have to hold it down here. And actually, AG made for this attack with the compositions, right? But Roy's highlighted the desk too, right? He wants to see what kind of adjustments they make, especially as they switch over to the defense, because the ideas were good, as you mentioned. So, you know, definitely AG does have a lot behind them in terms of planning and execution. So, see how things manage to play it out right now for Burger Boys. As currently, you know, they're just chilling.
I mean, realistically, they just have a really solid mid-hold, and they're going to try and adapt to whatever AG does, right? Like, if AG is going to go one way, they're going to try and go another, but realistically, with the better weaponry, this should be falling in the favor of the Guardian.
Yeah, they just spam through the wall. Tillo once again the first to fall, but the Senti duel at least, you know, decided to be taken away. So A, not as going to be an option, then have to move over towards B. Find the rest of the team. It is wide open, and again, Burger Boys will take the chances of trying to retake this.
Now the plant's going to go down. I mean, they do have, you could say, some utility. The 0-point flash for Practo, but you're alone here. The rest of the squad is kind of far off, so might be just either get a consolation prize or die to the spike. And this start early for Burger Boys, yes, is going to be a bit rough, but it's not something that they can't bounce back from, right? Because we've seen a lot of Burger Boy resilience and the ability for them to sway it back in their favor. When they lost the lead on Lotus, they managed to bring it back and take the series. Take the map. So here in this series and in this map of Corrode, they can still do some damage. They can still push forward.
Do something, right? Because realistically, look, this is it's a bonus. You're hoping to maybe get 1 or 2, and Practo's hunting for at least that one. Oh, dies before he can get it. But 2 ain't bad on a save. And now for Burger Boys, like you mentioned, right? This is where they'll have to make their stand, walk the way back in. I do
my God.
Hold the same positions here, though. Yeah.
Tillo, yeah, I'm reacting to Tillo going for that. Tillo's like, you know what? I'm done being the first blood. It's time for me to deal the first bloods with an Odin in hand. But like I was saying, is like they have the ability to bounce back. They have a lot of good adaptations out of timeouts, out of little breaks. And hopefully, you know, with a buy-up, with weaponry, they'll do it, right? We already saw some mid-control, and they're going to go for that same look again here.
0-point actually managed to get 1 tag so far, being the Waylay, I believe. So it'll allow Body to move in kind of fearlessly, but till already, like you're saying, right, with the Odin and paper thin walls here are corrode, so you know the spam kills are going to be imminent and consistent if they can find the angle. Right? For now, though, again, not the same B hold we saw previously on the save, but a similar triple hold that we saw, though, where they're waiting for the rest of AG to kind of move against them.
Rikers?
Riker. Oh, damn, he's better.
Rikers finds Retro here, and Retro on the holds has not been finding as much impact. Bonnie, though, is going to be the next in line to try and take these fights to some degree. The question here, though, is what does Burger Boys reposition? Because they've already lost a really crucial part to their puzzle. Oh my god. They lost 2 pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah, Practo being taken away is also really unlucky, so now without your flashes, you can't necessarily defend against any rushes that you have, so you're thinking that A is probably the take for AG, and you will be correct on that, as they can smoothly walk their way in, unless Body's let to say about it. Paranoia, nope. Remove from the angle, and instead they'll look to try to re-peek again over onto Elbow, but he's up against like 5, man. He can maybe get like 1. Never mind, not even 1. And yeah, AG should be able to just stop this here.
Ah, man.
And they get him. Oops.
And that's just free upgrades. Rikers picked up the Odin, so the once purchased up power weapon. I feel like we're talking about a different game when I say power weapons, but having that bigger weaponry to say, having that on the attack is going to be really solid. They're going to drop it to Duck. Sidon, I believe, has enough to buy up as well. So this is going to be a very nice start for AG. Sheriff, Eco, a little bit for Burger Boys. Ultimates are going to come in. But realistically, Burger Boys, I think they either will need a timeout or a really lucky round for them to win. Maybe a couple of ultimates or something to really sway it in their favor. Because right now, it's just AG kind of controlling, like I said, whatever they want to do.
Onto the side. So those match is taking quick.
Riker beat him first. They're so fast that Riker was like, no, that's my kill. I'm taking that. Yoink.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, as you double peek at him, right? But then Sci-Fi as well to removing Bonnie from existence, and so although it's a save, right? But you've got to look at Burger Boys, hoping to probably plan for the next round and what they can do to stop them. Like you talked about before last map, as well, nerds, right? You're like, you have to stop them from planting here, right? Because their post plant holes have just been so strong, and Burger Boys, they only manage to get some rounds back once they switch sides, and also, you know, once they just we're able to fire back, bro, which isn't happening here.
True. I think the fire back is probably the biggest one here. Nanner's firing a little bit. Gonna go down just straight to the spike to try and not give up an ult orb, but with 4 rounds down, it's expected. This is where the change really needs to come through. They're going to have rifles, they're going to have better weaponry, and they need to deal with this pacing problem, right? Whatever it is, whether it's putting in Retro, giving them an op so then they can shut down and be that, you know, chamber opper repositioner, have that on a line for an extremity.
Yeah.
It's going to be towards the B site. Maybe we'll see them pushing out a bit more, but Alliance, like I said, have been really controlling it, right? The previous round on when it was an eco, they went really fast. When it was a rifle round, they had a little bit more map control. They played a little slower, and I think that having that dynamic and really tripping up Burger Boys in the mid round is what's just giving AG so much potency here.
True. Right, and speaking of the mid round, though, this is where Burger Boys need to make their stand here as they look towards mid once again. It's not the same 3-4, but just 2 body spotted close. This is unlucky as Riker's already made his way in. Bonnie taken away so quickly. Was forced Practo at least to try to get something back. Just 1 taken. Practo's stuck in Tilla with the Odin to hopefully force them back a little bit to not just run over them on the site. A Paranoia to allow, and that's moving to the corner to maybe get a cheeky kill off, but for AG again, up 3 now, unfortunately. Good trade, nice shot from Retro, and a moment to breathe for Burger Boys to 2v2.
Manners has a bit of a gut call, like, hey, they most likely are going to lean towards A. It's up to Retro, though, to find the first.
I can't do it, wow. Poseidon with an incredible peek stops the up so quick on the flick. There's Duck now left. Otis still alive. 27 seconds left to go. And he can just chill, take his time, move all the way over to B. But Elite Nanners is right into this, so he should be here in time for this.
Yeah, but the plant's gonna go down, and you could TP potentially out back towards safety. Duck is gonna try and get ahead of it, but it's the wrong area. At this point, it's a 1v1. Who's gonna get the read first?
He's gonna have to check every single angle here, right? Just to ensure that he can make sure that he doesn't get flanked, taken out, shot in the back, anything. He has to check outside too to make sure. But that smoke is going to be clutch to cut off the back of the site. But from here, I think if you're Duck, you just take your time on what you want to do. Yeah, like you're saying. But is a tap though here? Nanner's timing and Duck better with a swing.
Dude, this guy's crazy. 3Ks leading the team, managing to clutch this out from Lotus. Like, it's been time and time again that Duck has risen up to it. They haven't died a single time this game. 5 rounds, 5 kills, 0 deaths. Is that the thing that we need here? I just want to point out that insane statistic. At this point, it's another eco, so I can just keep yapping about the fact that Duck is crazy. Rikers has been really good individually. They're still going to go for the outlaw abuse because they know it's going to be an eco. If they just press tab, they can see the economy. And even though, yes, you have ultimates and you potentially have some other things coming online for them, they're not able to find those X factors. I yapped too much.
Nice shot by Niners World here too, right? It's clean take. So at least they'll get something back, and Wound Riker as an option like we're talking about, top fragger as well from the side. So they'll need to maybe try to get one more. Spike's still in neutral position for Burger Boys. The same middle hole. It hasn't worked out so far for them, but at least now it's holding power angles for for it. Again, comes out on top.
I wondered if Duck was going to try and grab the orb here and then TP and pick it up. But it seems like, no, they're just going to be rotating back into A once they make space. And the goal was to see who gets the most amount of space to find the gap on the eco and then just play off that.
For now, though, at least they'll take what they can, at least in terms of space, right? Which right now, which is all onto A. There's the flash. Slowly make their way in, but since the flash didn't actually ping anybody here, it'll be on Nan to stop them. Nice paranoia. It's the corner. The thank you, Bonnie. Tekken taken.
Oh my gosh.
And an eco round is where we see Burger Boys come back. It's too quick taken right off the rip, and they'll stop them on the entry. And I think they realize the secret. Just chill. Wait for them to come to you.
I was about to ask, like, what's the secret sauce? Where is it? And I think I agree, right? You're on the defensive side, right? Yes, you can fight out and take space like you did during the first round, maybe even during some of their ecos when they take space out in mid or out towards B. But realistically, with the composition and the way that AG has been playing, they're really good at just being able to get in and playing that plant and getting fortified positions here for the side of Alliance Guardian. So countering that works really well. On the flip side, though, we do have, like, now the ultimates matter even more because we see a foreign laser coming in.
Yeah, their laser again, though. Foreign has made his way all the way into sight. Riker gone again. Big first pick from Tillo to get himself on the board, at least. And Spike now drop once more. Burger Boys, it took a bit of time. It took some adjustments, but they're finally adapting to what AG was doing. Right? Allowing themselves to... unlucky. Boy, tries to go for the res, but not going to happen. Still a Garden. Almost pushed out, but not going to get the chance.
A little too late on that timing. He's going to get surrounded and taken down here. The second for Burger Boys as they bring themselves back in. And honestly, they effectively won the Thrifty, by the way, is a huge boon to the mental and the structure for Burger Boys, right? It's going to give them a lot of hype here as they start their steamroll. They did have to use that ultimate I was trying to set up, like, Practo has his, Foreign has his. It's going to be a clash of which one gets popped first. And as we saw, Practo using his a little bit, like, into Foreign's ult and being on that right side, just managed to allow them to just win. Not allow Foreign to take that space. Yeah,
dog in, though, as well, close on to their corners, and they'll move his 5 stack once more. As a dash back, finds early info, and that's paranoia as Bronny and Practo make the win again, dude. This is so clean from them. Hey, the setup is beautiful. The flash again to move forward to mid, and again, there's all there lined up waiting for the taking. The 5 stacking on A, we saw this on so many of the teams, but Burger Boys are ready.
Make their
I think the rounds have been really good about their stacking, and the idea most likely in concept is you're going to be retaking a bit on one site and you're going to be stacking on another, and it's a couple of stacks that have been pretty solid out of Burger Boys. Alliance Guardian going to take a timeout here. They did have a lot of rounds where they were controlling the pace of it, and now with this sort of stack, they're unsure about, okay, like we can't, if we run into a stack, we seem to be losing. If we go for a bit of a default play, potentially, we might still get taken down by the stack. So it's about trying to adapt to that. On the flip side, Burger Boys is going to try and, of course, ante to some degree, but they don't know exactly what AG is going to do here. So out of both of these teams, who's going to have the stronger adaptation? And Burger Boys, they've shown a lot in terms of their adaptation. So I'm going to give them a bit of, leniency there.
Fair enough, right? Like we were saying, it's the adaptation points, right, that we saw out of BBs from what they've done. But for Alliance so far, they've kind of been stopped in a rut where previously they were able to take probably 1 to 2 early on, right, against Burger Boys, or they managed to get spam kills from their side. Like Tillo, I know I saw was like basically unlucky, right, where he got taken away pretty early on in these rounds. But now for their end, right, where they have their 8 Russians, 2 they were stacked in S5, but the Burger Boys really into it. Again, they also changed a bit of their own setup, but the paranoia alongside the flash should still definitely be there to catch them early if still evident.
Now they're still gonna go for a 3 and then 2 into mid, probably an A split with how they're pushing it.
Considering with 4 now in the no actually looking to catch him either, body down the corner, he's so ready. The shock bolt is there. Oh my god, Nana's there for the support. Even he gets 1 the second, now they walk into him. Nanners is disgusting. Burger Boys 4 in a row.
A hold. That was just a good hold from 2 really solid players. The concept from Alliance Guardian was good, right? Go for a split, right? The stacks were a bit tough for us. Try and catch them off guard. The Burger Boys were prepared. They had a crossfire. They had the utility. And you have the Bonnie Nanners X Factor. Simply put all together, it's the whole package. Everything you could want in this moment. Also, just the fact that Bonnie immediately, gets one. Nanners is spraying them down. Has to go for the reswing. The timing for them. Being able to work hand in hand. It's lovely to see.
Well, it's gorgeous, right? The paranoia setups alongside Bonnie with the shock with shock bolts too to get 1 almost immediately as well. It's really impressive with how Bonnie's been able to maneuver early stacks in the map. But speaking of which, they go A no more. It's mid. It seems to be the take.
It's gonna be the plan. They're playing it a lot slower here for AG's. Okay.
No
Spam.
shot, dude. Not even off the hot. Those use the knife and find 2. The spam is so clean, but again, these stacks are getting punished so heavily by Burger Boys. Might be the case here, though. Right, AG do a really good job of finally firing back, but they're decently low, and Riker's the only one with full health. He has the ultimate if needed, and Nana's and Retro ready and waiting.
At this point, though, you have an op as well as Nanners at full HP. The op can be drop picked up in mid. You can go for something. Like, you can even see Retro spots out the Odin. So there is a possibility here to not only deal chip damage, but also to prevent them from being able to win this hold on the A site. Retro on the B site. Retro already has a line into it.
Exactly, because they know exactly what we're walking into. The line should at least be stopped because the smoke that's clean. The timing might be really crucial here as they just shoot early. All right, Retro knows the shot goes a bit wide, but Riker in tries to spam this, but some chip damage is all he will get, as the op will unfortunately be not that useful, as he's super slowed down. And Natus with his full wraparound, he cleared everything else, so he knows exactly where they are. Dunk up top, and to maintain his cover. As Riker over by the side. You know, they don't know where either person is going to be down to 1v1s for both of these duels. And Riker wins his, and now it's on Nanners. 1 up high, 1 down low, and he's going to try to just stick it to. They have to face into him. He'll get it to half, sees the timing, 17 health, as Nanners pops out. Then the smoke, he gets 1 more, the counterpart taken. Now Riker, he has to save this. It's at half, the spam is clean, and Riker gets the clutch.
Right in the nick of the moment. The timing on some of those plays was brutal. The ultimate coming out, as you mentioned, as well as the wrap around here, especially peeking out Rikers, just hiding in a corner, being the turtle that they are once they get onto that site. It's interesting how it can kind of go both ways. But the way that it started was fascinating, because this was an eco round for Alliance Guardian. This was a round that realistically they wouldn't have won, but they managed to. And more than that, they managed to do that while taking out some really heavy hitters and some really heavy weaponry out of Burger Boys.
And it's huge for them too, like you're saying, right? They're both pretty unorthodox rounds that both ends to that they managed to win, right? Considering how it looks so good for Burger Boys right off rip. But this time though, they're not getting caught in chokes or just, you know, leaving themselves these easy points. Nando's actually gonna look to dodge away from the flash and allow himself to move into the corner. But unfortunately, with all utils up, they become wise to what Nanners and Bonnies have done, so they won't allow themselves to get caught this time. And a systematic takedown of every single angle they've been caught on previously. The paranoia and the dog leaving him alive at least, but for Tillo and Bonnie, they know they have to make the stand here to keep Burger Boys in the game and possibly make it 6-6 half.
Plant's already down. You have two players that need to rise up to the occasion. Can Bonnie and Tillo do it? They have good ultimates.
Two up front, but how do we take this stage is the question. This is a tough task to try to accomplish, considering what they're facing, and it's AG ready for wherever Burger Boys are coming from. Tillo and Retro looking to do this all by themselves if they can, but it's looks like kind of slipping out of their hands, and they'll try to come back for the final round, but may not happen. Unfortunate.
Last round before the switch.
No, it doesn't happen. It's a bit tough though, because I think it felt like Tillo and Retro both didn't know what they were doing. Tillo was sort of leaving out of Link, whereas Tillo was pushing in, and that kind of makes me think that maybe some of the comms were a bit rough. Not to read too much into it, maybe they were just trying to catch a timing or something along those lines, but that plus the fact that they've been losing a couple rounds in a row makes it seem like a touch disjointed for Burger Boys on this defensive side. That being said though, they are very comfortable. Last time we saw them on the second half, they started heating up insanely, and they were really, you know, doing better on that second half of the map. So
Sure.
that's something to take note into a pattern. He's got to give some hype for Burger Boys.
We'll find out, right? Like you're saying, but especially with this double duels composition that we're seeing out of Alliance, so they needed to make the attack round there naturally the strong side, but it's Corrode, so things can't necessarily just go wary within a matter of seconds. Nightfall already waiting for Tillo. Not gonna pop it just yet, where the rest of the team does come in. He hears the footsteps, and they all go in now, but there's too much up for Bonnie to deal with. He's full flash, especially in the corner, two taken right away. And off and already, the rechamber, and three now gone. Mid removed as a factor. Spike also dropped, and Burger Boys finally find the fight that they needed to make this a 7-5. Just one. It's Poseidon. He's blinded. He's gone.
It's almost poetic how similar the rounds were. It's like there wasn't necessarily a timeout or like a big shift in terms of the way that, you know, the teams have been playing and the ideas that they've been throwing around, both on Lotus and on Corrode here for round number 12. It just comes off of like a big round for a player with a solid ultimate. For Retro specifically, being able to find that through all of the chaos, not having making sure that they can, you know, lock in on the first and get the second with the headhunter just shows individual prowess. But regardless, it is 7-5. Burger Boys last time did not win the pistol. They're looking to rewrite history here, and they're on the attacking side. A 5-stack towards B, where the Sentinel is awaiting their open arms, I guess.
Yeah, and they'll run on in. It's similar to what we saw previously, but instead it's AG this time looking up and taking the space of mid. Oh, Poseidon's seen. That's not ideal, so they'll have to give up the space, and they know the beat should be taken now. Hans is so clean, and Poseidon does not even have a second to breathe. Vice force it one by one. The rest of the team comes in. Body in the corner. He's inside nest. It'll take his two. By ups his damage. The stats are so clean. We're talking about all day. This guy is a monster on this Neon. And you can see he needs to frag one by one, a double peek and a jump shot. That is also continuing forward. His pistol prowess is just stuck left. He saved them before. Can he do them again? Can he do it again is the question. One in the corner, the flash lands. And Duck knows time is not on his side. Have to find something but there's a trade angle. The corner is nice. Duck there and Practo peeks south. Ready.
There it is. Burger Boys is going to be able to capitalize off the pistol. Yes, there's only one player left alive, but Practo was the one that planted. Practo was the one that gets those kills, which is going to be a huge big up for them. On top of the fact that Bonnie just seems to activate a lot more in these attacking sides, a lot more on the second half. And specifically right now, being able to go in and just deal a huge chunk of damage. It's going to be evening out the game here, considering we have Alliance Guardian going for a full eco, one shorty for Riker, probably going to go for maybe a cheese play in mid or a hold in mid. We'll have to see as the round develops.
I mean, usually we see, like, you know, these triple push ups, right? It's exactly what we saw at a Burger with previously that they were doing. But will lead them to kind of think, because previously it was just jumping off of fade util and flashes and trying to find any spam they could. But for AG, you know, they'll hold. They don't want to give any spam kills. Like we saw that happen to Burger Boys where they were down playing 4v5 so consistently. But for now though, they'll look around the site, see who they can find, take a nice little stroll as they run onto A. Okay. Damn, a nice first, but Dunk actually evens it up. And instead we'll make it the Ares game. Spam through, 2 gone. And Burger Boys after this win.
Everyone talks about the Odin, but I feel like the Ares does not get discussed enough here.
I love the Ares.
A little bit of a rough fight, but Nanners is going to clean things up as we wrap things up 7-7 for both sides. And they do manage to keep a fair amount of weaponry here. The Ares is it's still a high penetration weapon, so you can go through those walls. And it is on the initiator, on the attack side, meaning that, you know, an Odin is, you know, the main choice for machine guns, but it's still very good. And I wouldn't be surprised if Tillo's going to be able to get some value out of it. Looking at the position, he is going to go alongside the duelist stack. They're just going to be fully into mid here.
Yeah, I mean, they might as well be, right? Because they know that this is where AG been playing previously, and this is how Corrode goes, bro. You know that if you either fight mid or you fight side, and those fight. Oh, nice TPOA. Like, gets out immediately, not going to give up his life, but it managed to see where they're holding. So it's that Spike will instead be looking towards the B side, which is decently open. Flash through should be clean. Foreign there. Riker first off, but they'll actually check the corner, and Foreign takes 2. Massive for themselves. And a bit of an oversight allows all gamers a chance to come back in the game.
Oh, man. At this point, for Alliance Guardian, the fact that they have so much in terms of weaponry and the utility, the paranoia is still there. 2 Prowlers. This retake should not only be a piece of cake, but they could even try and go for a stall and a stop. Separation. Whoa,
he's
no!
though. I mean, he is fine. Ideally, you're looking to spike down as soon as you can here, right before the rest of the team does come in. But you got 35 seconds. You know, as soon as you do, they're all gonna rush in. This is rough right now. Retro has to take at least 1 to 2. Beside, unlucky. They just get taken over. Yeah.
Oh, man, and that's going to be, I mean, it makes sense, right? Alliance Guardian picking up that 3rd round. I thought they had some pretty solid weaponry, but you always have to go for the upgrade. Doesn't go for it. Nah, doesn't go for the Odin. But in terms of the economy and the ultimates, we are starting to see some close. Tillo is close to his, as I believe Tillo was getting those plants and taking those early engagements. Bonnie, not as active as Nanners, but still getting up there. And this round looks like it'll be another, like, mid to A kind of hold split. They do still favor this mid position, especially with the duelist on the attacking side.
For AG here, though, they've at least, you know, got their gun round. So they feel comfortable on this map, but we're expecting close games between the both of them. And now for Burger Boys, I'll have to see the adjustment from their side, because they've been pretty good about trying to find and, you know, seek through where Alliance holds. And with no early peek this time, Bonnie gets taken. Practicing on their spam. He's walking through the paranoia, hoping to get anything. We're just... And they station themselves where AG can take them down in quick succession.
This
Rider side chokes 1 by 1. They just get taken away. And our Practo and Anders, I gotta say,
Yeah, no, they're going to get the plant down. They're gonna try to do as much as they can. But the thing is, for Alliance Guardian, they have them surrounded yet again, and they have all the pieces. It's gonna be up to Burger Boys to get those early fights.
Yeah, Impacto outside, right, with no coverage by himself, and so they'll just leave Nanners alone to try to delay. But that's up against 3. It makes it so hard with any 1v1s. AG, bit by bit, round by round, want to stand on their map.
Of course. I mean, we talked about it, right? This is not only is it their map pick, but it's also the map that they were favored on. The map that they had really good pacing and control. And we see that here again. Right? As soon as they find any pressure, their understanding of when to pull back and when to take fights is really fluid. And having that ability and that confidence in themselves and putting players like Riker and Foreign on those duelists, allowing them those get out of jail free cards or even the ability to reposition, really shows how well the Guardian is able to work together. The alliance of them, as some would say.
Ha!
But
that makes sense. But after Burger Boys to say once more, they've managed to find these cheeky save rounds previously to, put the pressure on AG. But considering where they are, it's full 4 on to A, and they'll have to get past Riker first to leave them hanging. Oh, shot whiffs, doesn't matter. He'll get out ASAP. Sci-Fi next, and he shoots the dog first. Unlucky, doesn't matter though. It'll leave Riker with at least one match to get out and dash away, but from here, there's the ultimate also invested to stop them for anything else they can do and slow down the push that will come in and give AG a chance to breathe.
At this point, Burger Boys need to go for this stop. Maybe debating on the re-hit and what position they're going to take. But if you look at Foreign's position, this could be so close to a trap, a sandwich, a retake, one that we've seen countless times before by Alliance Guardian.
3 all set up, waiting for the chance to pounce. And on the other end, it's the same with AG. Only a matter of seconds. Foreign goes around, looks re-clear, gets the space back.
Face your fear!
There's a nightfall to go in. They managed to get 2 as well on the site, so they know they should be holding right off, but they do not know where Foreign is. He could be the difference maker, but instead it's Riker. Those one shots a bit too deadly. Tello with no shield, it may not seem matter. It's 3 for him for the round. He needs to plant. He's waiting for the timing, and Foreign has to come out. Plant goes down. Tillo not looking. And Foreign, like we said, timing is everything. This man has every clock on hand.
I think that's perfect what you just said. They have like the clocks of every single player locked down, because the way that they've been able to find these positions have been insanely cool. And it was so close, right? Tillo was absolutely popping off in that moment, having really good individual reads. But just at the end of the day, when you have a team that's just feeling like in that flow state and you give such I'm trying to come up with a word here. I'm losing my mind. Such individuality to these players. I can't find the word. I genuinely can't. They're feeling so hot individually, and they're managing to find timings that they need to.
But Tillo himself, right? A triple kill to definitely should raise his confidence himself, but simply not enough. The one away. Duck spot in the corner, so they'll at least get the space as they look to move towards the A site, but made it firmly in the control and leaving Retro to watch around B as they don't want to get flanked again. There's that little EMP to stop them. The spam is nice, but Bonnie gone. Foreign's watching. It's one tap for just him. This guy's playing DMs, bro. Hey. Although Nanners takes him out, it's still 3v4 on the side. They had to get the spike down here, which is the problem last time. And now that a stop for the rest of AG of just conversing on, convulsing on them? Conversing. There you go. Very good.
We both need dictionaries, but at this point, it is a retake for AG.
Yeah, and retake not gonna happen. Pato covers the angle. Leave it to just Riker to the op. It looks dangerous. And then not to face up against him. Riker's still confident enough on his shots, doesn't want to give the op away, but the drop is there. And Practo will pick that one up. Burger Boys get a much needed round.
This is gonna be, it's great for them, right? Like, it's gonna build up some of their economy, but Alliance Guardians still have, because they won so many rounds in a row, the ability to buy the op, the ability to purchase up in here. But again, even when you have a lot of really solid individuals, it does mean you need to like rely on those hero moments. And once it's broken and Burger Boys is able to do the same thing and they're able to like get in onto the site, actually, it shows that AG might have a harder time, especially with Burger Boys figuring out how to do a better job on those holds and holding the extremities early on those deep lines.
Speaking of which, though, lines here so far are currently in their favor, but Retro watching it really looks to peek towards elbow. Shot traded between the two of them, but not knowing where the op is, I think if you're Burger Boys, you do not want to try to peek past the smoke, as they're just all faced up, all shooting forward. Bonnie looking to search for one. Back also swings. The shot will close, and he slides on him. It's disgusting. He's waiting for the rest of the team. Oh, but the electricity not enough. Riker barely managed to get out. It's Tillo versus Riker. We're down to 1v1 once again, and Tillo wants the clutch back. He wasn't fruitful last time, but he wants it this time.
I honestly need it here if they want to tie up the game, Ravish. But look at this ultimate.
He'll dodge it, but just barely.
Ooh.
So he's fine.
There's also more time.
Yeah. But check if he's close, if he's not. He gets a safe plant down. This is big for Tillo.
And I mean, because you had more time to kind of potentially go for this, you saw Waylay looking. Riker was like, okay, maybe there's a rotate towards B here because of that ultimate. But no, they now need to converge on each other.
Tillo holding close in the corner. It'll just be Riker that's his peek around and waits for his timing. Has the teleport as well too, so he could just refrag back. That's a tap, and we know it's like about AGs that they love just holding. But Tillo, ready, ice cold, and clutch is in the back.
Hey, that's redemption. That's redemption for the previous round against when they played against Foreign. And you know, it's got to feel good here. Especially because it's going to put AG down to an Eco. Alliance Guardian do not have the money to buy up here. That's what I meant when I said you need to win this round to tie up the game. Because the fact that we've seen Burger Boys starting to step up to the plate and really push the buttons of Alliance Guardian, they now need to take a timeout. They now need to go for this Eco. Theoretically, right, the game is going to be evened out here. And all of this is happening while Burger Boys, by the way, haven't taken a timeout this game. They still have 2 little pips on that timeout counter. I see that, and all I can say is that just goes to show how individually as a team, as well as how as a team they can play together really fluidly and change up the way that they're playing without needing to go for a timeout to reset a lot of the macro decisions or the ideas that they are going with.
Exactly, and I want to highlight some players as well here too, because like Practo in this map, I find, has stepped up in a massive way, whether it be the early knives and the flashes to set up for the scene, right? He's looking at 7 assists to it, but Till specifically, 15 assists on that fade, right? So he's getting, my man's getting haunt after haunt. The dogs are landing as well, too. He's playing a phenomenal game, a slow start as well from his end, but nonetheless, alongside Hernandez with a paranoia of 12 of his own, so Burger Boy stepping up in massive way and doing a really good job of playing off of one another too.
Seems like, yeah, there's a tech timeout. Honestly, I want to add on to what you're saying. Other than just having the insane stat line of 15, Tillo has been put into clutch situations, and the first one wasn't as fruitful. The second one starts to show, and in those clutch moments, Tillo does have that individual, play style. Also, just to say, like, Tillo was at one point, I believe, the coach for Burger Boys, then stepped in as, some of the roster shifted around. So he's been working with this squad a fair bit, and putting them and slotting them in right here isn't an easy feat, right? We saw that with Sad and Style yesterday, if you were tuning in, viewers. I believe the Desk and Dryad and Liz talked about that a fair bit when, how Style's playing into it, how the roles shifted, and as a result of that, how they play. Burger Boys doesn't seem as phased by that. They do have a lot of fluidity still, even though if you saw yesterday's matchup, you know what happened and who won. It still goes to show that here, they're managing to do really well. And it means a lot here actually as well, right? This is promo relegation. Whoever wins this is staying in. Whoever doesn't is unfortunately going to have to sit this one out.
Exactly, and you do have to kind of feel and look at AG, right? Where Alliance Guardians have moved themselves from Premier, right, to have a chance. They've finally managed to make it here, and they're grinders as well too, right? We were talking a bit about them on the Decibel too. Like both these teams, but like AG specifically, they're playing in like a bunch of different opens, like a bunch of Mr. Fun Heavens, right? And any other chance they can get to just make sure that they're not slacking off as well too. And they've also, considering the fact they've also changed one of the players well most recently, so they're really showing up as well, without like a ton of time to actually mesh together as a team. But the fact of playing this well is truly impressive.
I'm also expecting, by the way, for AG to retake with some of these ultimates that they have. Something I wanted to mention was the fact that they have they have the overclock, overdrive.
Yeah. But finally we see some one taps over there, and Riker now gone. Shockbolt and Paranoia as well to try to get something back, but no, just face up into them. Donk is so clean, but Bonnie not able to find him with those AD peaks, man. And now Foreign, he's come up big for AG before, and he needs to do it again. Watch the angle, playing is safe, but Burger Boys are holding.
They're going to hold him to probably try and wait and call the bluff, and hopefully AG rotates off a little bit and they can catch a timing onto these players. But again, like I said, we still have 3 ultimates here for AG. Not only for a retake, but also for a stall if they try to go for this fight.
Exactly. They'll use the knife to try to see who was currently on site with 2 still holding, like you're saying.
30 seconds
right.
left.
But knife goes right in the middle. Is Retro up top in the open angle, can't find him, and Foreign managed to get away with the nightfall also as well on the rest of the team. So now they know exactly where they're holding, but they still want to come back to this. They got 17 seconds. Burger Boys have got to ram their head and just bash their head into the wall. Let's try to get the spike down here. There's still a guard beside on the outside. They're not looking at him. Tiller now dead. Spike goes down, but at what cost?
And they try so hard to pull a Fnatic, but unfortunately they are not them, and they just get crumbled upon, right? AG, they've been really good about swarming, surrounding, and pushing through. Those ultimates coming in super clutch, the Steel Guard and the Nightfall going out. And at that point, Burger Boys, unfortunately, they fall and falter. And honestly, you gotta, give some praise to the the timeout that they took right beforehand, and they managed to talk about it. AG able to bring this back is going to not only give them a lot of momentum here, but it should potentially give them the 12th, right? Like, you would expect the momentum to carry forward, but if I know Burger Boys, I don't think they're gonna do that. Even though they do have a weaker buy, they still have 3 rifles up here.
They also invested, they forced up into this round as well too, so they want to make the stand. They need to here and now. They're duck up top, and Riker also playing the trade angle for himself. The smoke now landing, so they'll probably look to flash through if they can. That second smoke as well too to cover the cross angle. That's really well done for themselves, but they haven't been able to find anything either, as they're both just spam through. Doc again comes out on top. The close corner, Riker finds the timing. It's all falling apart for Burger Boys. What was a clean shot, what they needed to do, but it's not just Retro, the IGL, to do anything. And AG are 1 round away from getting their map pick.
Makes the game a lot closer, brings it down to the wire. And more than that, by the way that Alliance Guardian play, that I want to give a shout to Rikers, because Riker popping the Whaler utility to slow them down, it really disjointed the way Burger Boys was trying to get onto the site and left Nanners alone. The rest of them started to fall. The chip damage is undeniable, and it kind of collapsed upon them. Burger Boys needed to win that round. They bought up into it, and now every round is a round that they need to win.
Exactly. I mean, not too true, trying to bring it to OT, but their buy is kind of desolate, and things seem pretty rough right now for Burger Boys. No ultimates on their end. They've used Pactos last round, and if you're AG, you can chill. You got everything in the world you could need, the resources, the money. They can slap them with the wallets, man. That is easy here, bro.
Dude,
Burger Boys, yeah, there's stuff.
They also have so much mid control right now that they can do the same thing that they did previous round in round, I think, 21. Round 20, when they contained them towards B.
Right, which, speaking of which, they're once again contained right onto B, though. Bro, Bonnie runs out of bullets still. Managed to make it 1
Look who's
for
playing.
1, but the rest of them caught in the choke. That's gonna take some prize back before and again, coming around, gonna sandwich them on the sights. And Alliance Guardians will take Crow.
Honestly, it felt like we almost watched round 20 again. The only difference was we didn't go for waiting until the last 20 seconds to pop. Alliance Guardian, this is something that we've said since the beginning of Lotus, have been really solid in terms of being able to play that retake and even allowing some of that space to get taken before collapsing on them, and being good with their mid-round calls. Like, hey, we know that they're most likely going to end here. Let's start to swarm them. And it's shown even more on a map like Corrode, where mid is so important and you can flank so much